Welcome to At Home with Peggy. It's the fall season, and while things are slowing down in the garden, they're certainly picking up in the kitchen. It's the time when you have lots of company and are entertaining for this or that, whether it's a football game, having the whole family over for Thanksgiving dinner, or a holiday party. Food certainly does become one of the key components to a successful event. Now, what I have here are the ingredients for something that makes a great hors d'oeuvre, can be left out for chips and dip, or you can even serve it for dinner. It's nice because you can make it in advance, you can serve it cold, and it's very attractive when you put it out, and everybody loves it. It's a little bit of Mexican flair. It's called 7-layer bean dip, but I tend to modify it. You can add all kinds of layers if you like. But the traditional ones start out with these ingredients that I've laid out here in front. You need refried beans, you need sour cream, a pint of sour cream is enough, and you need taco seasoning to mix in there. You need tomatoes that get cut up. Boy, do I miss those Jersey Fresh summer tomatoes. Olives, and to make things easier, you can actually buy the ones that are already sliced in advance. Cheese, you can use any kind of cheese, cheddar cheese. This is a nice Mexican pre-shredded mix, which works great with this. And lettuce. Again, buying the pre-shredded lettuce saves you time, but if you want to save money, you can cut it up yourself. Now, one of the layers that I always like to add is a layer of meat on the bottom. This is ground beef. For those of you who have friends or your family does not eat beef, you can add turkey or chicken. And once it's browned up, it's just as yummy. We happen to enjoy beef every now and then. So I'm going to start by browning the beef, and when I get done with that, we'll add these layers, and you will be amazed at how easy and simple and attractive it is, and what a great dish for entertaining. Okay, the very first layer is the beef, which you can see I have just finished browning. Nice and uniformly brown and nice and crumbly. I hope you can see that it's very dry. This was 93% lean beef, and we don't need the extra fat, that's for sure. A little bit of fat is great, but too much is no good, and I think there's plenty in here, so we'll turn this off. And I'm going to put this in this nice big casserole dish. We'll put the beef on the bottom. Now, because none of these ingredients are mixed up, they're all in layers, you can do as much of each one as you like, really. There's no set rule. We're going to just cover the bottom nicely. Now, according to the rules, the very next thing is the refried beans. Boy, it doesn't get any easier than that. You buy old El Paso refried beans, and you just scoop it right out and put a layer on the bottom. Okay, that should do it. There's a little bit of the beef poking through, but I don't think anybody will notice. Okay, after that, the next layer is the sour cream. Now, we have the sour cream. This is actually a little bit more than a pint, so I don't need the whole thing. And we'll scoop this into the bowl. And you need, this is where the taco seasoning mix comes in. And again, you know, if you like things spicy, use a little more. If you don't like things spicy, use a little less. It's really to taste. I'm going to use this package. I'm going to squish it so it's a nice fine powder inside. And we'll just sprinkle it to taste. Oh, that one's a little clumpy. Okay, that should do. As a rule, I would say it's probably a little bit more than a teaspoon, but again, you know, it really can be to taste. And if you're not sure, just put a little in, mix it up, and if it's not spicy enough, well, then you just add a little more. Okay, I think I will taste it. Let's see. Just the right amount of zing for my family. Okay, we'll dump that on. Again, I'm going to dump it in little glops. You don't want to have to manipulate things too much because you'll disturb the layers underneath. So I'll put the little glops in as many of the corners as I can. Okay, layer number 3. Okay, from there we add the salsa. Again, this particular salsa is mild. If you like things spicier, buy spicier salsa. Well, that one opened at least. Okay, spread it on top. Again, kind of drip it around as much as you like. You are, of course, limited by the depth of your casserole dish. That is another confining factor, but we like salsa, so we'll make a nice layer of that. Not usually, if you pour it gently, you don't have to spread too much. You can see how quick this goes once you get started. Then the shredded lettuce. This shredded pre-washed lettuce is great. As much as I love to pick it fresh out of the garden, there's nothing like it for making things quick and easy and delicious. I've cut up these beautiful tomatoes that actually came from Holland, and I'm going to put the next layer on top of the lettuce here. Again, this is one of those that you really want to kind of spread it carefully, because trying to spread it out after the fact would mean disturbing the lettuce. So let's see if we can't kind of get them pretty even. The cheese, shredded cheese. Again, you can do this to your own personal taste. If you like more tomatoes, you can certainly add more tomatoes. If you like it cheesier, you can add more cheese. Remember, there's a layer of salsa that's tomato-based as well, so I didn't want to get too carried away with the tomatoes. Now the final layer in 7-layer bean dip, which is actually the 8th layer, because remember we added the beef at the bottom, are black olives. Now I chopped these up with a cleaver. It makes it real quick, but you can save time here again by simply buying them already pre-sliced. That works pretty well actually. And then they're nice and uniform and circular, but I like the look of chopped olives. Now, I did save one little olive, and I also saved a few wedges of tomatoes, because while this looks perfect, remember we will be serving this, well, tonight it's going to be dinner, but really nice to put out on the table for a football game or for hors d'oeuvres, and presentation counts for a lot. So what I did was save some of these little tomato wedges. We'll put one nice olive right in the center. We'll make a little flower arrangement here. And you know what else you can do this with? Works really nicely with pepper wedges, and then you get a third color in, kind of brightens things up. Now, what a way to start a party. 7-layer bean dip with 8 layers. Now, stay with us, because we have some holiday crafts, and we have some new friends living with us in the barn that I just can't wait for you to meet. Finding that perfect gift for someone special is not always easy. Also, finding the time to make that perfect gift is even more difficult. But once in a while, you come across a project that may just be worth the extra effort. I have a very dear friend whose father passed away many years ago, and he had a flannel shirt of his, very much like this, in about this size. Now, he no longer wore it, and he was ready to pass it on to my husband at the farm here, and we go through many flannel shirts. And I took it, but really with something else in mind. For Christmas this year, we're going to give this very dear friend of ours a teddy bear made out of the flannel shirt. Now, making teddy bears is not that difficult. So I went to the fabric store and found this pattern. It's Simplicity Pattern 9524. And you can see there's a variety of animals on there that you can make. The pattern is about $12, I think $11.95. And you can make bunnies or little dogs or, of course, bears. And I tried to find the smallest bear pattern I could find. There were several others to choose from because the pieces of the shirt are really not that large. So we took a shirt that started out looking like this, and I opened up all of the seams and had the front panel and this front panel and the back panel to use for the major pattern pieces. Now this was the original shirt, and this is basically all I have left is a couple of sleeves, but I'm going to hold on to that maybe for trim. So you can see here that the pattern pieces are fairly large. So I was very, very careful to try to salvage as much of the shirt as I possibly could. Now, so you can see this one is actually the bunny, but you can see it's fairly large and did in fact have to be squeezed in to the two different front panels of the shirt. But I was able to cut them out, and you can see here this will be the back of the bear. No, this will be the front of the bear, and this will be the back of the bear. So it was able to fit. Unfortunately, the plaid was going in different directions, but there wasn't much I could do about it. Now I'm going to take this pattern off to show you a couple of things. It's really very simple. This little dart is going to have to be stitched together to give him a little shape for his little front by his butt, so he'll sit. And then this will be his little toes, so you can give him some shape to go around. But I'll open it up and show you what it's going to look like. Now, it's really only 4 pattern pieces, so don't be intimidated. But when it's sewn together, you can see it'll look like a bear. You can see that this is his ears. He'll be sewn together, and this will be his feet. Now, I bought stuffing to stuff him with, and I'm going to use some of the extra pieces, and I think I have a little piece of black leather downstairs that I could cut up and make a vest. So I'm going to put all of this together. You will see it when it's done, and I'm giving this to my friend for Christmas to remind him of his father, who has been gone for many years. So I think the shirt that made him sad because he couldn't button it anymore will now become a Christmas treasure representing both our wonderful friendship and his father. So I want to show you this bear when it's all together. And here we have the finished bear. Now it was only 4 pieces with a couple of darts, so it was really very easy. I put him together and did his little face. Now these are just shoe button type eyes, and I was able to get a certain amount of depth to his face by squeezing his little face together and then connecting the eyes on the inside. That gives that little bit of depth and kind of contours his face. The eyelashes and the nose are just made out of black yarn, just a few quick slip stitches, not a big deal. And his little vest was made out of a piece of leather, just leather scrap, so it didn't have to be hemmed or edged, just a couple of seams. What I did do was, in order to shape the back, let's get him off here, I was able to put just a little dart in the back, one single dart, and that was able to shape the vest to fit the curve of his back. It was really very simple, just, you know, a couple of quick seams. Now my kids, of course, fell in love with this and got all excited when they saw him in his finished state and wanted him to have a little baby bear to go with him. So we made this one. And he has a little backpack made out of the pockets, and that's held onto him with just a couple of ponytail holders. And that has the stretch and keeps him on. Now this was very simple because I just drew a pattern. This is just a flat pattern, and I drew half of it, folded it in half, and cut it out to get the symmetry. So that was very simple, and then just stitching it around, stuffing it, and once again, the eyes and the little nose are just made out of yarn. So his little companion to go with him. Then my daughter insisted that the baby bear have a baby. So we have this little tiny one, which was also just a very simple pattern made the same way and stitched together with a ribbon. And this little button that's on his tummy here is one of the buttons from the shirt. So we will put this all together. I don't have too much left over, part of a sleeve here and a collar and one other sleeve. The rest are just scraps. So obviously out of one flannel shirt, you can get a family of bears that are going to the son of the person that originally owned this shirt. So it's going to be a very special Christmas present. So stay with us and the bear family, and we have more things to show you. The fall in central Jersey is usually a time of brilliant colors. The summer of 2002, however, really precluded that from happening. The drought was very stressful on plants, and they didn't produce the sugars they need in the summertime to produce the colors they need in the fall. Now you combine that with the fact that the fall was very warm, and the lack of cool nights only made the whole situation worse. So fall in central Jersey wasn't quite as brilliant as usual. It's nice to know that there are alternatives, and while I can't say that the autumn leaves are all that wonderful, as long as I can look at these beautiful autumn flowers, the loss is not felt so severely. These wonderful yellow flowers were able to tolerate the drought without any extra irrigation or watering. They still grew, still looked wonderful, and are giving us this blast of fall color well into the season. Now you can see that they're still covered in many of these bright yellow flowers. They make an enormous display, which is also wonderful because they completely die down. You cut them to the ground in the spring, and they don't interfere with the spring daffodils or the irises, which have a completely different look. So planting these perennial sunflowers, they're called Maximilian sunflowers, gives you a wonderful display of fall color, and these flowers will last into the middle of November if we're lucky. Now a whole row of them, as you can see, is quite the display, and I can honestly say there's no shortage of fall color here at Blooming Acres. Now when you're done looking at the flowers, I want you to join me in the barn because we've done something to spice up fall back there too. Nowhere do you learn the lesson more deeply than on a farm about the circle of life. We recently lost a wonderful friend of ours, Fraggle Rock the donkey, who lived to be 17 years of age and entertained us and brought us much joy and pleasure. In response to his passing, you could not exactly replace him, but we wanted to have another donkey. So let me introduce to you the newest additions to Blooming Acres, and they're here in Fraggle Rock's honor. The little gray donkey, his name is Coriander. He's about 6 months old. He is a male miniature donkey, not quite full grown. The wonderful little brown one had a not wonderful life and was brought to a fabulous donkey farm for a short period of time. He's a little bit shy and not used to being handled, but we're going to make every effort to make him the wonderful pet that Fraggle Rock was. They came to us just a few days ago from the most wonderful animal farm I think I've ever been to. So I wanted to introduce you to our new friends, and I want to show you the wonderful home where they came from. So we're going to go back and visit with the home of this guy, whose name is Pepper, his real name is Peppermint, and Coriander over there, so that you can see how wonderful and joyful these animals can really be. So we're going to go visit with your moms, guys. Well, this is the home where wonderful little Cory and Pepper came from. And their first mom was Sandy Bainbridge, the owner and operator of Long Ears Acres. Sandy, this is one of the most wonderful places I've ever been to. How long have you been here?
About 5 months now.
Wait a minute. There are barns, there are pastures, there are a zillion animals. How'd you do all this in 5 months?
We hired out, and I have a husband that works his butt off, and that and my in-laws have helped us, and it was wonderful because without them we couldn't have done it.
Wow, extended family, and obviously your husband is a treasure. I have one of those too. But who's this?
This is Storm and Norman.
Competition?
We do. No, and he's not going to be dinner either. This is Norman. We take him to nativity scenes with us. We bring a camel, we bring a donkey, a couple sheep, a couple goats, and he's our star attraction because he licks all the kids.
You have camels. You have camels here.
A couple camels. We have a dromedary and a Bactrian.
Okay, which is
hump?
which is what?
The dromedary is the one hump, and the Bactrian's a two hump.
Now, someone asked you earlier, and I found the answer kind of interesting. Can they cross with each other?
Yes, they will breed with each other to, here we go now. to get a superior camel, one that will go further and carry heavier loads.
And you use these animals for what? How do you support this farm with these animals?
Well, we definitely don't support the farm with these animals. We do nativities with the camels, and I just love them, and I love them so much that we got another one. We bought a Bactrian, which is a 2-hump. He's a 7-month-old male, and we definitely don't support the farm that way. It's just for fun, and it helps feed them a little bit, that's all.
And look at all the wonderful donkeys that are behind us, which is, they were the friends. I'm sure they miss Pepper and Corey. And how many do you have?
We have 20 miniature donkeys, and we have, I believe, 6 mammoths, which are horse size, and 4 standards, which are kind of pony sized.
Now, a little even more bizarre, or the zebra. You have a zebra. What do you do with a zebra?
We are trying to breed Z-donks. If you see over here, we have 2 Z-donks, which are half zebra, half donkeys. We use the male zebra to breed a female donkey, and you come out with a much more manageable zebra-type animal.
Zebras aren't so easy to raise, are they?
Not at all. You cannot domesticate a zebra. People have tried for years bottle raising them, and it just doesn't work. They have a wild instinct that will not leave them. But the Z-donks are wonderful. We show them, we've raised them up, we bottle raised them, and they're a little bit tougher than a horse or a donkey, but they're nice, they're gentle, and you can handle them and mess with them.
Would you like to say something? No, he's being very quiet today. I also saw some other wonderful animals. You have the really true, only can fly on Christmas Eve reindeer, that they're just so beautiful, and you happen to have great evergreen trees where they look right at home. What do you do with reindeer? Unless, you're Mr. and Mrs. Claus in disguise.
We actually got them because I like them, no other reason. She had a baby last year, so we might have a baby once a year and sell it. But I actually got them because I liked them. I thought they were neat-looking animals. This year, someone wants to lease them out for their evergreen farm, so we might lease them out to them for the Christmas season. But we didn't get them for that reason. So we just got them because they're neat.
So when you go to an animal auction or a place that's selling animals, exactly what ends up happening?
Oh, I come home with something. I always come home with something.
A woman after my own heart. So here we have camels, which technically I'm not allowed to touch. Is that right? Are they considered exotic? Are any of the others exotic?
The zebra, the camels, and the reindeer are considered exotic, and state law says that you can't touch them because they're so mean. So.
Well, I can see that they're very mean. But you also said, which I found equally fascinating, was that the Z-donks are not. And what's that reasoning?
They're half donkey, which gives them a wonderful personality, and that's why a lot of people will cross them. The zebra have terrible personalities. They're beautiful, but they have terrible personalities. These guys come out of a donkey mother, which teaches them to be friendly and nice and calm, and I think that's the reason that they come out so well. Thank God, they have a lot of donkey genes in them.
I can see that this camel's very aggressive.
Yeah, he's very mean. Don't get near him because he might kiss you too much.
And what's your total acreage here?
We have 46 acres here.
And how many animals total?
We probably have about 50. I hate saying that because we have sheep and goats, and they're just little guys. But we're eventually going to pasture in everything, so they'll have a lot more room to roam. We just moved from a 11-acre place, and we needed more room for the animals and for us. I have 2 little girls, a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old, and we wanted a bigger house, and so we did.
And kittens and chickens and pygmy goats and a sheep and turkeys and a pond and
Egyptian geese, and we have all kind of stuff.
So if people wanted to reach you and were interested in having some of the animals for the nativity scene, or maybe perhaps purchase some of the miniature donkeys, how would they get a hold of you?
Well, we are located at 60 Harker Road in Chesterfield, and our phone number here is 609-324-0903. And our main business is miniature donkeys. We raise them, sell them, show them. We have about 10 babies a year, and we find that a lot of people, once they see miniature donkeys, they love them, and they keep coming back for more, which we're real happy about that.
Yeah, I can see how that could happen. Pepper and Corey have been asking for more of their friends to come visit.
We have more. We have more. We could help you out.
Anything you want to say to the general public about these animals and for their information, something that maybe you've learned over the years with them?
They're great therapy. That's what I keep telling people. They think we're nuts that we have all these animals, but you know, every day I come home and I could be in the worst mood in the world, and I come home to my animals and they have to lift your spirits. They don't have a bad feeling and a bad bone in their body, and all they want to do is be loved, and that's what we do, and we love them.
Well, thanks for joining us and letting us visit here at Longhairs Acres. And that wraps up this show, At Home with Peggy, and right now we're at home with Sandy. But stay tuned, because next time it's going to be the new year, and we're going to bring it in with a lot of fun, interesting stuff. And believe it or not, it's going to be time for gardening season to start again. So this is Peggy Ballister Howells. We'll see you next time.
We should be filming this.
Yeah,
is what
really.
should be happening.
I'm going to use this package, which we have. It's not open. I thought it was open. It's not open. Sorry.